We put this on silent. Put this on silent.
Okay, good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Buxton Planning Board for Monday, September 23rd to order. Second item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is Austin Fagan of BH2M is representing Red Coral Investments LLC for an application for a 20-unit affordable housing development at 16 Rocky Dundee Road, map 3, lot 67. Mr. Fagan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As stated, I am Austin Fagan. I'm here with BH2M representing Red Coral Investments LLC. The project out front of you tonight for sketch plan review is a 20-unit affordable housing development at 166 Rocky Dundee Road. The applicant has already had a wetland delineation completed by Haley Ward, along with a stream delineation. Those are shown on the plan. The parcel is within the residential zoning district. The property currently houses a mobile home and a few other outbuildings on the property. As shown, this development would consist of 4 5-unit clusters. The project, in order to qualify for the density for affordable housing, will need to have a public water and public sewer system. That'll consist of a well that'll be drilled and permitted through the state, as well as an engineered septic system that will process over 2,000 gallons per day as called out in the ordinance. Additionally, you will see on the plan that just in the entrance to the right-hand side, we are proposing an office building just for maintaining the property and taking care of everything right on site. Relatively straightforward project right now for sketch plan. Be happy to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
Okay, Heath, do you have any questions, Heath?
As of right this minute, no.
Okay. Mr. Warshall.
Austin, thanks for the setup.
You're welcome.
In the net residential density calculation, in the top corner of the plans, you have 50% pulley drain unknown. Is that something that's going to be known at some point?
Absolutely. So as part of the review, there will be a high-intensity soils test that's taken care of. Realistically, we know that the wetlands on site are going to be very poorly drained. Other than that, based on medium-intensity soils, we believe that there will be a majority of the site being well-drained soils, but we will refine that density calculation when we get that information.
All these units going to be affordable housing, or is you going to do, I forget what our ordinance calls for, 50
I believe it's
or
at least 50% of it will have to be at an affordable rate.
I think I'm all set for, I guess the other thing is and I haven't, to be honest, spent a whole lot of time yet on this.
Fair enough.
The community septic, does there need to be a provision made for an alternate location in the future or not?
That's definitely something we can look into. This will need to be an engineered septic system. So as part of this, we'll have to do a full design. There will have to be a hydrogeologic assessment made just to verify, where this needs to be. And it would likely be a good idea to have some sort of an alternate location, since a public water system will need a 300-foot radius around it without anything. So that's definitely something that we'll take into consideration with the design.
Yeah, I was just asking because I see it's kind of planted right in basically the only spot you could have.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, well, what's your time schedule in getting more submissions to the board?
So at this point, after sketch plan tonight, we will need to do the soil evaluation. So I guess we are at the mercy of the sub-consultants at that point. Additionally, I believe we're going to come back with a more thorough design that'll be pretty much fully done, other than, you know, maybe permitting, since site plan approval, is that just one? Because it's conditional use, so there's subdivision and site plan, so we'll have a couple opportunities. So I would say within, you know, a few months, we'll be back here out front of you with more information.
November, December, end of the year.
I would hope for that.
Okay. Thank you.
What provisions are you going to use for fire protection?
At this point, I believe the preferred method from the fire chief is sprinkler systems.
Okay.
If, you know, if he'd be willing to do a cistern, I'd be happy to talk with the applicant about the preferred method, but
Okay.
really we're looking to make it so it's as straightforward and easy for the fire department as possible.
Okay, so we'll need something from him either one way or the other.
All right?
If a cistern's on the property, then we'll need an easement for the town to access that.
Okay.
You got Patty's letter of September 20th, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So we'll need you to follow through with submissions, responses to Article 8.2B, Article 10, Article 11.22, and Article 13. You're aware of that?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
These are affordable housing units. Is there a time limit that they're affordable and then they resort to market value, or
Let's see.
how does that work?
That is in the ordinance.
It is.
I want to say it's a 30-year.
30 years? Okay. And all these are going to be affordable? Okay. And the office, that would serve as the managed area for the apartments?
Yeah, like a property management.
Right.
Place where they can take, you know, maintenance calls and
Okay. Trash disposal, you'll have to have dumpsters or some area to put that, because I don't think you would qualify for curbside
Okay.
since it's a private development.
Right.
That's really all I have for now.
Thank you.
Craig?
You've got most of what I was thinking. Any idea on the size of the buildings going in?
So right now, we have them shown with I want to say it's a 20 by 40 footprint. We are going to need to get some architectural plans for you, but I would say that's right in the wheelhouse of what you'll be looking at.
Okay. Okay, pretty much everything else I'd rather do a site walk and,
Yeah. Do you need any DEP permits or approvals for this project?
This will likely be a stormwater permit through the DEP.
Okay.
oh, there was one more thing, Jerry. Did I see it? Yeah, number 19 in the application, which would be the subdivision requirement review for DEP. You didn't answer that one at all.
Okay.
Other than that,
You planning on paving all the access roads and entrances?
I believe that would be the intent. Answer number 19. That for you on the next submission.
Okay. And that would fit in with the stormwater DEP permit, meaning sheet flow and
Correct.
cisterns and berms and whatever?
Yep, yeah, this project, just based on the layout, you know, there's a fair amount of slope to it. I think there'll be a closed drainage system to catch everything.
Okay.
And then it'll be either discharged to, it'll most likely be a soil filter on this site just due to constraints of, you know, area, so. But we'll be meeting quantity and quality to meet both the town and the DEP regulations.
Are any of the wetlands on the property regulated by the town or by DEP?
So at this point, we have not had a vernal pool assessment. It was done outside of that time, so we will need to have the wetlands reviewed for a second time outside of in the vernal pool season, which would be April, May, typically.
So basically, do you want to proceed, or do you want to wait until April, May till that's done?
I think we'd like to keep, you know, we've got sketch plan going. There's gonna be a fair amount of design involved with this along with the permitting process. So if we can just keep the ball rolling with it, with you folks, we'd be happy to do it that way and just get you information as it comes back from the departments.
Okay.
One other thing, will you mailboxes, I assume you're gonna do a clustered mailbox
I believe that.
location? Okay,
Show that on the plan.
right, okay.
Okay. Do you want to wait for more information for a site walk?
I think we probably should.
I think we should too.
Yeah.
The only thing we're going to come up against is going to be daylight savings, when? Couple weeks?
I think it's November 5th.
Yeah.
November 5th? So if we did a site walk, after that would have to be on a weekend, because we just don't have enough daylight during the day, which I don't think is an issue, is it?
No, I mean, if you wanted to take care of the site walk just to get a look at the surrounding areas, like I said, there's a fair amount of design that'll go through with the site plan. You know, with a subdivision, we get you a road design and some stormwater, but I'll tell you, this will probably be sitting with the DEP for a few months at this point.
Okay.
So, you know, if we could get there prior to snowfall, because I think once it snows, the board doesn't go out for site walks, does it? Or,
Depends on how much snow.
fair enough.
I think we typically said anything over, what, 3 inches or something?
Yeah, something like that.
4 inches.
Yeah, I'd like to do something, if we were to do something before, I mean, I'd like to see some of the questions, but
Well,
I don't want to do a site walk too soon before we see the submission again,
Yeah.
and then,
I'm thinking maybe the last,
do something
the
November.
last meeting in October. I don't have that. Last meeting in October would be the 23rd.
Okay.
Does that give you enough time? That would be our next meeting, to get enough stuff together, and then maybe on the 23rd, depending on the information, we could set a site walk.
Be the 28th.
I'd say that would depend on how thorough of a design you're looking for at that point. You know,
Excuse me, I'm sorry, it would be the 25th.
The 28th.
28th.
2023, okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's 28th.
That's okay.
2016.
if it's easier, since we do have to rely on, you know, getting the soils information and all of that.
Yep.
It might be easier. I can just reach out to Patty once we have something, and if you folks want to take a look at it, we can come back and set it up.
Well, I'm thinking if you come on the 28th, we can look at the information, then we could set a site walk and maybe do it in the evening.
Okay.
Before daylight savings.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, it gets dark at what, 7 o'clock now?
Yeah,
Almost.
by then,
Latest, at the latest now.
by then.
So if we did like a 5:30 site walk, we should be okay.
Should be okay. That'll give
All right.
us a little over an hour.
Be close. Yeah.
How's the board feel?
Yeah, no, I assume wait and see.
Yeah.
Like I say, I don't want to do anything
We
too
could also
soon.
do it on a Saturday or Sunday during that week also.
We may have another one we can combine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable to the applicant?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get you the information that you need and move forward from there.
Okay.
Anytime after the middle of October, I'll be around on the weekends again.
Okay. So are you fairly clear on what we've asked you to provide so far?
Absolutely. Just to go back over it, we've got answer number 19.
Yep.
Show some trash locations for dumpsters, get you soils information, get a hold of the fire department or the fire chief, get some clarity on that. Cluster mailbox, and keep it moving.
Trash disposal area,
Yep.
and then we need the responses to Article 8.2B, 10, 11, 22, and 13. And if you read the last paragraph of Patty's letter dated September 20th, the ordinance states the planning board would determine that the subdivision will not adversely affect the quality of groundwater. The burden is upon the applicant to prove. If you could somehow, through your soil scientists or whatever, give us some kind of reassurance that this project is not going to affect the aquifer on that property.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good to me. I will get the hydrogeo study rolling and
Okay,
make sure we get that for you.
okay.
Perfect.
My guess is the fire chief's gonna tell him that the building's gonna have to be sprinkled just because of the size.
He put all 5-unit buildings must be sprinkled per code.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I
Makes
thought.
it easy on us.
They must meet
Yeah.
NFPA road standards.
Mm-hmm.
All other sections of NFPA 1+101 apply.
Okay. Thank you, Roxanne.
Perfect.
Okay, are we
Thank
all
you.
set?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks all for your time.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Gary's General Contracting Incorporated, and an application for a 7-lot subdivision on Berry Farm, 81 Berry Farm Road, map 9, lot 23. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Sean Frank. I'm an engineer with Sebago Technics. With me tonight are the Grays, the applicants for Grays General Contracting Incorporated. I know the board's seen this project a number of times. Caitlin Ablett from my office subbing in for me, and I appreciate her time, as Monday just seems to be a very busy meeting from a planning board standpoint these days. Based upon the notes that Caitlin had provided me, I just go through it, and obviously if I miss anything, if there were some things, other things that the board was thinking that we needed, certainly just feel free to let me know. I know that we had submitted a number of things over time. It was kind of piecemeal after the initial submission. So we tried to pull it all back together again into one submission, if you will. Unfortunately, we did hear that we should also provide responses to Article 10, the performance standards for the zoning districts, which we just got into Patty at the very end of today. So again, that wasn't part of your package. Again, my apologies for that. We didn't quite understand that the Article 10 had to be addressed, but we have provided responses to the board for that. In terms of the plans themselves, we requested to add the setbacks. We did add the standard setbacks to the plans. I did show a standard 75-foot setback from the streams as well, with the notation that the 75 feet, unless we worked with the DEP on the NRPA, there is a permit by rule process that allows it to go down to 25 feet of disturbance associated with the streams themselves. But right now, again, I'm showing the 75 feet. I know there was some discussion last time about the common driveway, if you will, and the fact that that needed to be actually is a private access and therefore a road name. So the applicant did complete a road name, an application for the road name. We did prepare a plan and profile associated with that and made that part of our plan set. We did add a note regarding the stream crossing, potential stream crossing for Lot 3, and the fact that that will require a permit by rule through the DEP. I know there's some questions as well about net residential, so we did blow up the net residential plan and make that part of the plan set. And the board was absolutely correct in the fact that on a couple of the lots, the only thing that had been deducted was the wetlands and not the poorly drained soils as well. That has been corrected on that. Unfortunately, if you notice on the plan in front of you that you made as part of our last submission, we had updated the buildable area on the net residential area calculations. We hadn't updated it on the subdivision plan. I have addressed that. I mentioned that to Patty. I do have some additional plan sets if the board would like to have them, and I'll leave those with Patty as I walk out. We did discuss the requirement for utilities to be on the ground. That is noted on the subdivision plan. There had been discussion as well about preparation of the HHE 200s for the individual lots. Unfortunately, we're having some scheduling issues with mainly soils in association with that. Looks like perhaps that, my soil scientists will have to perform those, and again, it's just a scheduling issue more than anything else, just because it's the one guy that we have doing it as well. If there's any chance that we can make those a condition of approval, we'd certainly appreciate consideration by the board for the condition associated with the preparation of the HHE 200s. We understand, obviously, that is part of the building permit package that has to be put together on the individual lots. And like I say, it's just from our standpoint, just more a matter of scheduling and getting some time from one of these soils guys to be able to pull that together for us. With that, Mr. Chairman, I think those are the main revisions that have been made to the plans and to the applications you folks have in front of you. Like I said, we did prepare a response to Article 10. Again, I know that came in late for you folks. Obviously, we're just trying to keep the process moving along, and we certainly appreciate, discussions with the board to allow us to proceed to a public hearing at the board's convenience. So with that, I would conclude my presentation, and certainly be happy to answer any questions that the board has. Thank you very much.
Okay. Questions from the board? Craig?
I know on the site walk, there was some talk about updating the area, the dry hydrant. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if anyone's talked to the fire chief at all about that.
I'm sorry, I missed that, I'm sorry.
On the site walk.
Yep.
We had talked about, we looked at the dry hydrant area.
Yep.
And there was some talk about doing some updating on it, potentially. And someone was gonna talk to the fire chief about
Okay,
it.
well, I did talk to the fire chief, and again, perhaps I didn't understand that. Again, my apologies, because I wasn't on the site walk with you folks, and I'll be happy to have that conversation with the chief. My main point with him was that the existing fire hydrant was certified. He was concerned, I think, initially that it wasn't a certified
Okay,
hydrant.
all right.
All right, so that had been my conversation with the
Yep.
chief to ascertain that,
Okay.
ascertain that it was a certified hydrant. But I'll certainly be, are we talking now more about the actual gravel parking area?
No,
right
I mean,
there at the hydrant?
as long as he's happy, I'm happy.
So what we have discussed with the chief now is the potential for a second hydrant at the end of what will now be the private drive, which is that existing pond that's up there. The question comes down to now, can that be certified? Well, of course, the certification can only occur through the consultant that the chief in the town hires, which will be at his expense. But either we'll have a hydrant at the end of that access road, or, a number of the units may have to be sprinkled depending on if we can get that certified or not
Right.
through the chief.
Right. Okay. I think that's all I really had, Jerry.
Okay. Keith?
No, it looks like they answered everything that was from the site walk. Everything looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Scott?
Thank you. I know I mentioned the main soils letter.
Yes, you did.
It appears you just resubmitted what originally submitted. It hasn't been updated.
It has not been updated, and again, my apology, we're trying to work, it's, like I say, it's just been really a scheduling issue with mainly soils. I appreciate your comments, and again, we haven't forgotten them, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I did have that written, or Caitlin did have that written in her notes. We will follow up with them to see if we can at least get those items that you specifically referenced, addressed in their report.
Yes, we should have a site plan that the numbers should be coordinated with the soils plan. Thank you for providing that. Right, sheet C-202 and C-101, because I still have a buildable area for lot 6 as 151 plus square feet. Lot 5, buildable, does not match what's on the soil density.
You're absolutely correct, and again, sometimes these wonderful CAD things, they think they just automatically adjust one plan on the other, and it did not do that. So we have updated the subdivision plan to assure that the buildable areas as shown on the net residential area plan are the same on the subdivision plan.
Okay, thank you. What's the status of note 6? So on note 6 in your plans, as you noted earlier, a 75-foot undisturbed stream setback is indicated, but are you in the process of getting it reduced to 25?
I'm not, I'm just saying that there is, that option is available associated with the individual homeowner that might be going in through there, but the fact that the 75 feet is required unless they go forward and get that PBR from the DEP. That's what Mike was trying to say on that. Now, if that's not appropriate, I'd certainly be happy to entertain language from the board.
Lot 3, the stream crossing, what's the status of that? My understanding was you folks were putting in an application with the agencies to get a crossing put in.
Again, that was originally through the soils consultant. I think it's back to me now, so I will put in a PBR in association with a driveway crossing and the appropriate culvert associated with that. I do need to take a couple of pictures down there where that stream crossing will be to include within that. I will get that taken care of this week.
So that's something that will be on a plan showing where the crossing will be and the type of crossing that the homeowner will
Absolutely.
have to build?
And I'll have a section associated with that as well, so you'll see exactly, the DEP will ask for that, and I'll certainly include that within my package to you folks.
Thank you. I think we also mentioned, given this is the headwater of Stroud Water Stream, and there are a number of towns, communities below here, that it's an impaired stream. I know I mentioned about, well, I'm just going to say it right now, I'm not going to go for approve anything until we have all permits for agencies. That's just that's my feeling, given it's a very sensitive. We have 3 streams here, all houses all the way around it. It's not something that I'm going to be looking forward to as a conditional use. That's just my opinion at this point in time. There, I said that. On the design of the roadway, this cutoff, if you will, for Lot 5, that's the driveway to Lot 5?
No, I'm not showing a specific location for a driveway to Lot 5. It was just the hammerhead, I think, at the end of the roadway, wasn't what I showed.
Well, my understanding in the site walk and our previous discussions, that was the access to Lot 5.
Was off the hammerhead itself?
No, that was not a hammerhead, that was just actually a driveway access.
What I was showing, and again, if I was misunderstood, is that we were showing a private access, if you will, to service 2 lots, lots 5 and 7.
Right, which is that here. And this here, because during the site walk, we talked about a hammerhead, and it was stated that was the access to Lot 5. And didn't know, and that they didn't know, realize that a hammerhead was required. And we said, yes, if it's over 500 feet, it needs to have a hammerhead.
So yes, from
I
my
guess-
standpoint, that's the hammerhead associated with the access road required for emergency services, right where you're pointing, exactly right where you're pointing there. With the proposed driveway to Lot 5 being somewhere along that access road, I had not defined that access drive. Certainly I could get together with Dave and certainly define that, but I had not specifically called out a location for the driveway to Lot 5.
Okay, well then maybe it was my misunderstanding, but I know there's a lot of discussion about that and the hammerhead, so I don't think I was off, but I could be.
And again, my intention of this access, especially after hearing the notes that came back from you folks, was to have a 15-foot wide gravel access coming up through here with a hammerhead turnaround for the potential for a certified fire hydrant up there that would connect to the pond for that additional fire service, so that, you
Okay.
know,
I
it
believe
would
it has to
provide
be
that
60
service.
feet, it has to be 60 feet deep, I believe.
And I can,
It's
for the,
currently showing 50.
I will make sure that that's adequate. Do you know if that's for the gravel, through the chair, if that's for the gravel itself, or just for the right-of-way? Because I can certainly.
Well, it's
get
in the
gra-
definition,
I can certainly get the gravel depth, I can certainly get
Right-of-way
60
is
feet of
50
gravel
feet.
in
I
there.
think the travel way is 22?
travel way for a private drive for
Okay.
that is 15 feet.
15 feet,
15
right,
feet?
so I have a
15 feet.
50-foot right-of-way, so that just leaves me some room that I could certainly get 60 feet going.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is part of my question is, well, before I guess I go there, who is going to build this right-of-way, Misty Lane?
The applicant with, obviously with a site contractor.
I know it's been stated numerous times in the application that this is just for sublots, sublots, sublots. This is a final document, and unless the other board doesn't agree, but this driveway, we need a design as part of section 10.1. We need the design, cross-sections, and a soil erosion plan. Because once whoever is going to build this is going to go off in his plans, this plan and the town and the contractor need to be on the same page. You provided a profile, which is great, but also, so when you go through the profile up around Station 2, it's in a pretty big cut, so there's got to be, what are you doing with the drainage? Is there going to be a ditch for the 150 feet? And where is that going?
So when you say design, you're looking for a grading plan associated with that? Okay, yep.
And then when you get up at Station 6 plus 50, is already, the existing ground is steep on either side, and the road profile is 4.5 feet higher than that. So by the time you do a 15-foot roadway, and then you add a 2-to-1 side slope to slopes that are steeper than that, where's your toe of slope going to be? Or are you doing some type of retaining wall?
And again, if you look at it was right there at that station you're looking at. I did look at that myself. You're right, the toe of slope would be further down into the lot 5, if you will, and I can define that. And again, I'll get a grading plan pulled together for you on that. On the other side, the actual grade is higher on that side. So even though the center line grade itself is 172 or whatever it may be, I think by the time we're to the edge of the gravel, it was 3 or 4 feet higher in that location.
Yep.
So although it looks like a pretty severe slope at the center line, on the uphill side, it's not that bad. It's on the downhill side, I think we do have to worry.
Correct. So going back to the whole permits, to do your hammerhead, you're inside the 75-foot setback for Stream 2. So you'll need your permit for that.
I'll include that within my PBR that I'm preparing. I will include that within my PBR that I'm preparing for the DEP.
Then on the questions, so it looked like lot 6 is just going to be a single unit now, which you stated in your application.
Well, I was concerned because I thought we were getting less than 80,000 square feet of buildable. But you can see it's just over in accordance with that, so we still may be looking at the potential for a duplex there, and I think we'd certainly like to maintain that opportunity.
Okay, I guess once you get it figured out, if we could just make sure the application's the same throughout and not conflicting. Again, I guess in here, in your application, stormwater 13.5.2, on page 6 of 6, it just talks about the submission involves the division of land only. I get that, but we have this right of way that the applicant wants to do for 2 or more homes, so now it becomes 10.1, so we'll need the erosion control plan for that anyway.
And I appreciate that, and certainly when I give that grading plan, I'll make sure that it has the erosion and sediment control on that, and a narrative that goes along with that.
Okay. And did you get the notes, Frank, about the mainly soils report? Essentially what it stated was there are 3 perennial streams, but in the summary it states there's only 1.
I had the types of wetlands, perhaps, I'll make sure there wasn't a wash, the acreage,
Yep.
a wetland H was not identified, and page 3, paragraph 1, under summary states that 1 perennial stream was identified. However, early in the report it stated that 3 streams were identified.
You got it.
I will say Caitlin does a lovely job of taking notes, so unfortunately, if I didn't address everything, then I'll take full responsibility for that.
Yeah, and I've certainly done enough with consultants before. When you swap it, there is a bit of a catch-up period. Yeah, I think that was it for now, Mr. Chairman, other than the status on the agency stuff.
And again, through the chair, it's a permit by rule, so again, I'll get that submitted, but once obviously they accept those, then it's basically a 14-day period till we have that. I don't think they actually send me anything back, so I just want to be clear in terms of what I...
Sometimes they do, but most of the times they don't. If you don't hear back from them, after 14 days, you're good to go.
I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page in that regards, because a lot of times, like I say, I don't
Yeah.
get anything back.
Send us a correspondence saying that DEP did not.
But I guess my other question is, being Stroud water and paired stream down below, is there Army Corps or NERPA permit required for the stream cross for a lot 3?
It's, again, as long as we keep it under 75 feet in length for the culvert, it should just be a PBR, but again, I will get that submitted, and if there's anything changes associated with
All
that.
right, if you could just provide that, something writing on that.
Yep.
Like I said, it's,
And will you clean up the plan on the net residential area calculation? This is allowable dwelling units, 25 units.
There was some question on that. Now, again, and I just went by the definition, and as I went by the definition of net residential area calculations, we take those items out, and then in terms of the net residential density, it was based upon the buildable area. So that's why I divided by the 40,000. It was to divide by the, after you take those things out, then you divide by the buildable area for the lot.
so that would be the net residential density,
Yes.
but that's not how many units would actually be allowed, because you still need the 120,000 square foot per lot
120,000 square foot with 40,000 of buildable area.
buildable, yeah.
Within the 120,000.
Okay, so let's, and again,
Yep.
I'll give
There's
you-
two different kind of calculations there.
and that's fine, so I should have another calculation on there, which is what, just the gross area divided by the 120,000?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, I would get rid of that line.
yeah.
Should I just lose that line? Is that what you're saying? Just lose
you
that
don't
line? and
mind,
call
yeah.
it good?
Lose it, there
Lose
you
it.
go. Drop that
How
hot
about,
baby.
I can do that.
The lot 3, the crossing for the driveway, and where else was it sensitive? Was it, what other lots?
Well, I mean, I don't think there is anything else for other lots.
Does that need to be on this plan? Well, that, a permit from DEP by rule is required for lot 3's driveway.
Well, yeah, but it's also gonna be probably for the hammerhead and the,
So maybe I can do this. Why don't I submit the PBRs? Okay, and then why don't I reference those specific PBRs that have been submitted to the DEP with the date
On the plan.
on the plan?
Okay.
All right, so at least if nothing else, we
That's-
have that as
Yep.
that start date, if
Yep.
you will. And obviously, and I'll provide the additional information we just discussed in
Yep.
terms of, Stroud Water, and is there any further thing? Again, it's certainly not that I am aware of, but I'll be happy to follow up on that.
Okay.
And obviously, if they send me anything back, I'll be happy to forward that to the town as well.
but lot 3, you'll also show a crossing now.
Yes, I will. I'll certainly have a section. I'll do a section for obviously the proposed access, the grading plan associated with that, and I'll give you that actual section going across the
Yep.
screen.
Because that's just so the homeowner, a reasonable homeowner knows there's a structure that they can build, it's been approved, they can build something to go across. That would satisfy that.
And again, it would just be an 8.5 by 11, if you know what I mean, in terms of showing the plan crossing and the section associated with it.
And that would go to the owner who buys lot 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we're just concerned that buyer beware of that. Somebody who buys lot 3 knows that they might have to spend a little more money to put their driveway in with a culvert. And then we need clarification from Chief Schools, correct? On, we're going with whether the existing hydrant on Berry Road is sufficient for the rest of the subdivision, or he would like additional fire protection on what lot?
He will require additional fire protection.
Okay.
Okay, the question really comes down to is, can we get a hydrant at the end of that hammerhead now?
Yep.
Right, that can be certified.
Okay.
Which I can't answer, because the chief he has his consulting group that he utilizes for that.
Okay.
Our intention is to put a hydrant in that can be certified by the chief, with the understanding, and again, whatever the language is, I don't know how we can put this in verbiage that is comfortable to everybody.
You're looking for like there, for a hydrant?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, he just said hammerhead, that's why that
Right.
confused me.
Yeah.
Right, but that, obviously, like the chief says, in terms of, it needs to be a certified hydrant in terms of, to count from his standpoint in terms of the proximity to the homes. So that's just why I don't want to, again, there seems to be plenty of water, it's a big pond, can we get a little depth there? I would assume we can get a certified hydrant there, but obviously if we can't, then the homes that are too far away from the existing hydrant, those would in fact have to be sprinkled.
Then we'll have to make that a condition of approval.
And does the town have an easement to use the other one that's on Berry Road now? You know if there's something language that,
Again, I just asked him about he said it was a certified hydrant, so my assumption was that, again, that, the town has it and they're utilizing it. But in terms of specific language, I don't have any specific language associated with an easement there.
is that something that we can check on or have the applicant check on? You've been around long enough, I don't like assuming.
No? Yes, we've been there a long.
It always bites you.
But, no, again, we're talking to the chief all the time, obviously, so, and I don't know, and but Patty and I will certainly make sure. Like I say, my concern, his initial concern was it a certified hydrant, and it has been, and you're right, the word assumption, but my assumption had been, obviously, if the town had gone through the time and expense to get it certified, that in fact that they had legal access to it, so.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry,
You all set?
I said that before, but.
But that's a good point.
Okay, are you fairly clear what we're asking you for additional information?
I do. It seems the main thing really is some additional information in association with the roadway access.
Yep.
Going down to grading and erosion and sediment control associated with that, and getting the PBRs for the driveway and the hammerhead.
And then clarification from Chief Schools.
Clarification from the chief.
Any other additional items from the board?
I just gotta look through Article 10.
Article 10?
Yeah. Just gotta look through it.
So I think we'll wait until we get that information before we set a public hearing.
Yeah.
Is that how the board would like to proceed?
I think so.
I think it's wise.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so if I submit, again, next Monday, so we'll be on the meeting after that, and then we'll set up a public hearing?
Yep.
All right, I know he's just nervous, because obviously he can't sell that existing farmhouse until we move, so that's, again, that's just the pressure we're under in terms of trying to keep this
Yeah,
process
I
moving
understand
along.
the consultant issues, it's beyond your hands. But I think everybody across the board is experiencing some kind of shortage of technical expertise in any business whatsoever, so, the sooner you get that to us, the better. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Next item on the agenda, if I can find it. CEO report, the CEO is not here tonight. Approval of minutes for August 26th.
I had a couple comments.
Yep.
If I can find them now. Where did they go? Right here. It was on page 3, just over halfway down the paragraph. It says Brian Brewery, owner of the property, responded that he will install a silt fence and hay bales. I believe he also said he would take some of the impervious and put it back to a grass section. I don't know if anyone else recalls that, but that's what I seem to recall. And then just a spelling thing, Roxanne on the first,
Actually, Patty did those.
I know,
Okay.
on the
What page was the spelling?
page 1, near the end of the second last paragraph, underneath where it says Route 202. There will be strict time constraints with no last into the night. I'm assuming that's with no late into the night noise. And that, I'll make a motion to approve with those additions.
Any other comments from the board?
What was the first one on page 3? You said you also added take some and,
Would Brian Bruvey on the property respond that he will install silt fence and hay bales? He will do whatever is necessary to control the stormwater and additionally add some of the he said he would remove some of the impervious material.
Correct.
That's your understanding?
That was my understanding.
I wouldn't put that in there. Are you all set with that, Roxanne?
yes.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes for August 26 as amended.
I'll make that a motion.
Do you have a second?
Second?
Motion by myself and a second by Heath. Motion by Scott and a second by Heath. All those in favor? That would be 4 with...
Be 3.
It's going to be 3 with 1 absent and 1
Abstaining.
abstaining because he wasn't here, and the 5th one absent. Craig wasn't here. Okay, communications.
There's no
Just give
bills.
Approval of bills. Do we have any bills?
No bills.
No bills, that's good. Communications, I have a copy of the Maine Town and City Magazine. Just basic municipal stuff. There's an article about the Forks, whitewater rafting, and that's about it. If anybody's interested, you can come to the code office and take a look. Other business. Any other business? Okay, anybody from the public like to address the board? No? Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:50.
Second.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:50. Second by Greg. All those in favor? Before with 1 absent. Okay, good evening. You guys like to see it?
So,
I'm thinking maybe next meeting, we can just, after
Oh,
people
ordinance
look at,
changes.
as people look at the ordinance, we can just maybe go over
Okay,
and
I
prioritize.
completely spaced that out.
That's fine, I'm not into it tonight anyway.
Okay, I'm not either.
Patty gave us.
Yes, it's adjourned.
Patty gave us